How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, October 15th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to preview the championship series round of the 2021 MLB Playoffs. Going into the playoffs, there were 30 teams that were competing for this trophy, and of course, the best 10 teams in the league would separate themselves from the rest and at least play past the regular season. In the American League wild card matchup, the Boston Red Sox would have to beat their division rivals, the New York Yankees. And in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers would have to beat the St. Louis Cardinals, the team that had the longest winning streak in baseball this season. All that matters is that those teams made it to the division round as to the round that was just being played. And of course, taking a look at the teams that made it to the championship round, I think it's worth noting how each team got here in the first place. Starting with the big matchup today, that is the American League Championship Series, looking at how both teams got here. First, starting with the road team, the Boston Red Sox were, of course, able to make it here after winning their wild card game 6-2 versus the New York Yankees. Looking at how that matchup was played, the Red Sox took the lead early off of a Xander Bogaerts 2-run home run, not to mention Kyle Schwarber was killing it. Nate Eovaldi would have a very good pitching outing of his own as he struck out 8 batters over 5 innings. That is how the Red Sox would make it to the division series. Once they made it to the division series, they would have to face off against the Tampa Bay Rays, the only team that finished the American League season with at least 100 wins. In the very first game of this series, the Tampa Bay Rays actually took game 1 of this series. They would end up winning it 5-0, shutting out the Red Sox. Shane McClanahan would pitch 5 scoreless innings. As for the Red Sox, Eduardo Rodriguez allowed 2 runs early. Schwarber and Bogaerts had a couple hits, but the Red Sox were not able to get it going, despite the fact they had more hits than the Rays. However, they were able to get it going in Game 2. In Game 2, the Red Sox would beat the Rays 14-6, as most of their run, they would have to come from behind, take the lead in the top of the 5th. The Rays would tie it up. Then the Red Sox would have to take the lead, scoring 6 of their 14 in the last 3 innings. For the Boston Red Sox, their center fielder Kike Hernandez in Game 2 would finish 5 for 6 as he finished with 3 RBIs and 3 runs, not to mention his first home run of the playoffs. Xander Bogaerts went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit a home run. Verdugo went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. As he would have a very good game for himself. JD Martinez went 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit a home run as well. And then not to mention Christian Vasquez went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run, as the Red Sox would just continue to score a bunch on the Rays. Going into Game 3, the Red Sox would end up beating the Rays 6-4 as they had to come from behind to even tie the game up. The Rays would tie the game up in the 8th inning at 4. And then it would be a 2-run home run from Christian Vasquez to give the Red Sox the 2-1 lead. And then, of course, going into the final game of this series, which took place a few days ago, actually, the Red Sox would have to beat the Rays 6-5 to be the very first team to advance to the American League Championship Series. They would make it to the bottom of the 9th after the Rays brought back so the Red Sox were up 5-0. The Rays would eventually tie the game up in the top of the 8th, but then it would be Kike Hernandez's sacrifice fly to bring Danny Santana home to help the Red Sox be the first team to advance to the American League Championship Series. Looking at the team that they're going to face off against tonight, the Houston Astros came into the playoffs with the best record in the American League West. Their matchup would be against the Chicago White Sox. In Game 1, they would end up beating the White Sox 6-1. As Lance McCullers Jr. would pick up the win in Game 1, pitching 6.2 innings, striking out 4. In the batting lineup, Michael Brantley would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Their designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez, would hit a home run as he went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. Not to mention Jake Myers and Carlos Correa finished with multi-hit games as well. Following their Game 1 win, the Astros would end up beating the White Sox in Game 2 in Houston. As for the Astros, it would be their hitting this game. Framber Valdez would pitch only 4 innings, allowing all 4 of the runs. Alex Bregman would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Kyle Tucker would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run, as Kyle Tucker would hit the only home run of the game to help the Astros get a 2-0 lead. With the White Sox trailing 0-2, the White Sox would pick up a win in Game 3 as they beat the Astros 12-6. Dylan Cease would get the start for Chicago as Eloy Jimenez, Yohan Moncada, Gavin Sheets, Lurie Garcia, and Tim Anderson each finished with multi-hit games. For the Astros, their elite third baseman Alex Bregman will go 2 for 4, and then Kyle Tucker will go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. Kyle Tucker would hit a home run in his second playoff game in a row, but regardless, the Astros would fall just short. And then going into Game 4, the Astros would end up beating the Chicago White Sox to punch their ticket to face off against the Red Sox. In Game 4, the Houston Astros would beat the White Sox, of course, 10-1. Jose Altuve would go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 4 runs as he hit the team's only home run. Michael Brantley would go 3 for 6 with 2 RBIs in Game 2. Carlos Correa and Yuli Gurriel would also finish with multi-hit games. And with this win, the Astros won the series in 4. And because they finished with the higher seed than the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros are going to have home field advantage for Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. And this is the American League Championship Series, this series would go 7 games if necessary. Of course, Games 1 and 2 taking place in Houston today and tomorrow. Games 3 and 4 will be taking place in Boston on Monday and Tuesday. If it ever does go to Game 5 will be on the 20th. Game 6 will end up being on Friday the 22nd. And then Game 7, if necessary, will be played on the 23rd, just for a little bit of reference as to what that series is looking like. The Game 1 of the National League Championship Series will take place tomorrow as the Atlanta Braves will host the Los Angeles Dodgers. First, looking at how the Los Angeles Dodgers got here, coming off of their World Series title run from last year. They were the defending champs coming into this year. They finished with the second best record in baseball to the San Francisco Giants, but because they had the second best record in their division, they would have to play in the 1-game wild card playoff against the St. Louis Cardinals. And of course, in that matchup, they would end up beating the Cardinals 3-1 to advance to this round, where they would face off against the San Francisco Giants, the team that came in with the best record in all of baseball. Looking at how that series fares, starting off from Game 1, the Giants ended up taking the very first game of this series. They won it 4-0 as Logan Webb put together a gem of a pitching performance, striking out 10 batters and allowing no earned runs in 7.2 innings. For the Dodgers, Mookie Betts and Will Smith had multi-hit games as Walker Buehler gave up 3 earned runs. After trailing the series 1-0, the Dodgers would end up winning Game 2 against the Giants 9-2 as they scored 4 runs in the 6th and 3 runs in the 8th to of course get a very big win at home. For the Dodgers, Julio Urias would allow only 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. He would help the Dodgers pick up their first win of the playoffs, or at least of the division series. Chris Taylor would finish 2 for 4 with 3 runs, and AJ Pollock would finish 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs, as Will Smith hit his very first home run of the playoffs. After the series was tied up at 1, the Giants would end up winning Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead, after their only run of the game came in the 5th inning off of a solo home run from former American League MVP Evan Longoria. For the Dodgers, the start was given to Scherzer. Scherzer would pick up the loss even though he allowed only 1 earned run in 7 innings as he struck out 10. In the Dodgers batting lineup, Albert Pujols was the only player with a multi-hit game as they fell short. And now, following Game 3, their backs were against the wall. In Game 4, the Dodgers would end up beating the Giants 7-2 in order to even up the series to send the game back to San Francisco for a Game 5. For the Dodgers in this game, Walker Buehler had a really solid start. He allowed only 1 earned run in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite right fielder Mookie Betts would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run, as Mookie Betts ended up hitting his first home run of the playoffs. Their catcher Will Smith hit his second home run of the playoffs. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their elite shortstop, Corey Seager, their all-star second baseman, Trey Turner, Gavin Lux, their center fielder, and their elite first baseman, Cody Bellinger, also all finished with 2 hits. Following this win, the series was evened up at 2. And taking a look at the big win from last night, the only National League Division Series game from last night, the LA Dodgers were able to beat the San Francisco Giants 2-1 thanks to their game-winning run coming in the 9th off of an RBI single from Cody Bellinger. They were able to squeak past the Giants. The win was given to Kenley Jansen as Max Scherzer picked up his first save in playoff history. Also, in the Dodgers batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their elite right fielder Mookie Betts, as he went 4 for 4 with a run. With this win, they would win this series 3-2 to advance to play against the Atlanta Braves. Taking a look at how the Atlanta Braves got here, the Braves would finish with the best record in the NL East despite losing a couple of their strongest players. I mean, I would argue that their best pitcher, Mike Soroka, and their best hitter, Ronald Acuna Jr., were completely missing this season. Yet, regardless, the Braves were still able to muster up one of the best offenses in baseball and finish with the National League East title. So for their first matchup, they'd face off against the National League Central champions, the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Brewers had home field advantage coming into this series. And with home field advantage, they of course would host Game 1, and the Brewers would take home the first win after they beat the Braves 2-1. Their 2 runs came in the bottom of the 7th off of a Rowdy Tellez home run, as the Braves' only run came off of a Jock Peterson home run. For the Braves, the loss went to Charlie Morton as he allowed 2 earned runs and struck out 9 batters in 6 innings. In the Braves batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit. But following this game, they would go on to win their next 3, obviously. That's how a 3-1 series works. In Game 2, the Braves would end up beating the Brewers 3-0 as they would allowing 2 of their runs would come in the top of the 3rd off of Freddie and Ozzie Albies, and then Austin Riley's home run would cement the 3rd run. For the Braves, the win was given to Max Fried. He allowed no earned runs in 6 innings as he struck out 9. And, of course, Will Smith picked up his first save. In the Braves batting lineup, Austin Riley was the only player with more than 1 hit, as he picked up his first home run of the playoffs. Following this, the series was tied at 1, and then once the series went back to Atlanta, the Braves would end up winning Game 3 as they beat the Brewers 3-0. All 3 of their runs coming off of a Jock Peterson home run in the bottom of the 5th. For the Braves, the win was given to their starting pitcher Ian Anderson as he allowed no earned runs in 5 innings as he struck out 6. The second save of the season was given to Will Smith, or the second save of the playoffs, I might say. He struck out a batter in the 9th inning. In the Braves batting lineup, Adam Duvall will go 2 for 4 as he was the only player with a multi-hit game. And after they took a 2-1 series lead over Milwaukee, they would end up winning the series in Game 4 as they beat the Brewers 5-4. As remember, the Brewers did pick up the first win. The Braves would pull off a gentleman's sweep. The win would come, or the difference would come in the bottom of the eighth as Freddie Freeman, the reigning National League MVP, hit a home run off of the Brewers' elite closer, Josh Hader. For the Braves in this matchup, Morton picked up the start as Charlie Morton allowed 2 earned runs in 3.1 innings as they picked up their win from relief. In the Braves batting lineup, their elite first baseman Freddie Freeman went 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their elite second baseman Ozzie Albies went 2 for 5 with a run. Their left fielder Adam Duvall went 2 for 3 as well. And that is how the Atlanta Braves punched their ticket into the National League Championship Series. And of course, this series will pick up tomorrow. And of course, once this best of 7 series is done, I will provide a preview for the World Series, as now the MLB is down to only 4 teams left competing for that World Series title, and I can't wait to see how these rounds stack up, especially after today. Thanks once again for listening to all 16 minutes of my piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with another episode tomorrow. And tomorrow will be Saturday, October 16th, 2021 out here in this quarantine. I, of course, want to thank the MLB website for giving me all the facts and the figures that I needed. I, of course, want to apologize if I butchered any names, but right now, that is how this round of the 2021 MLB playoffs is shaping up. And once all 4 of these teams have competed in all of their games and we get down to 2 more games, of course, I'll be ready to give the preview then. But until then, thanks for listening to this piece. I do hope all is well, and I will catch you with another episode of The Elite previewing the World Series once all matchups from this round have been completed. Thanks once again, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.